Like it's almost on a ridiculous level.
Okay, we're live.
Okay,
Our actual video image should come up here in a second.
go ahead. Let
All
me know
right.
when you're ready.
Good morning, folks. I'd like you to give me a big hand and welcome Anthony Irwin. And this gentleman has lost over 500 pounds and healed multiple chronic illnesses. And he's going to tell us all about how he did it. Take it
How
away,
you doing
Anthony.
today?
Doing great. Happy to have you here.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be here too as well. Um, Share a little bit of information and some story time and all that kind of good stuff. It's a pleasure to be here, my good man. So to start this all off, I want to make a note that I was a pretty normal individual. 220 pounds, had a high functioning job. I worked in the oil field. Um, I shot up from about 220 pounds, somewhere in that area. I really can't remember, to a max weight of 713 pounds. Um, and when that first started, it was merely all water retention. Like I remember having to get wrapped with compression wraps from my toes up to my mid chest, just to be able to move my limbs and whatnot. And when you work a high functioning job and all that kind of good stuff, I'm not gonna lie, like I ate a lot, but it never stuck to me or nothing like that. Just because I'm assuming because I had a high functioning job, and when I retained all that water, I gained a lot of pounds in a very short amount of time. Um, and when you eat like that and not able to move and function like you normally would, the inevitable is inevitable. Gain more weight. And like I said, the max weight was 713 pounds. Um, they thought that I was having right-sided heart failure. That wasn't the case. They thought I had after that, they thought I had a tumor on my pituitary gland. That wasn't the case. And to be honest with you, they never found out a reason why I blew up like that. They always tried to push stuff like gastric bypass and all that kind of good stuff on me. But I always figured if there wasn't a rhyme, they couldn't tell me a rhyme or a reason for the initial start of it. Who's to say it ain't going to do it again? So that wasn't my choice of options for myself. And this started right before my oldest daughter was born, and she's 18. She'll be 19 coming up here pretty soon. But that's when it all started, and it's been a lot of hell going through this stuff, like with kidney failure and diabetes and all this kind of stuff, being in protein positive for myeloma and just a slew of other stuff, autoimmune stuff, and all about autoimmune things. So, and that's another area that I'm tackling here. So it's been a ongoing battle. And I caught Foreigner's gangrene. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a specific type of gangrene, but it's more located in a specific area. Like I'll just be honest with you, like your privates and stuff like that. There's like a 13% chance of survival rate when it comes to that, and that was my turning point when it comes to weight loss. That's when all the weight loss started for me with the carnivore. I can't remember exactly where I heard it from, how I heard it from, or who, but I just remember doing it. And yeah, it's been amazing ever since. And that's pretty much the very, very short form um, of what happened. Yeah.
So what what path kind of brought you to finding keto and carnivore diets?
It was never really keto, but it was just our carnivore. Like I said, I was dying on my deathbed when I had this Foreigner's gangrene, and that 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 was the start. And when I started it, it was just full steam ahead. It was 100% Lions diet. There was no in between. Um, and that's what I did for the longest time. I never veered from it. I never stepped away from it. I never did anything different. Um, it was virtually that. It was virtually a make it or break it type of deal. Um, yeah, looking back on everything and like my motives and everything like that, it wasn't for myself. I have kids and my kids are gonna have kids, and it was I couldn't see them growing up not knowing who their dad is or not knowing who their granddad is or any of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's been really emotional and really. I make it seem easy to a lot of people to do this stuff, but it at times, I'm sure you know as well as too, it's not very easy. Sometimes you play a lot of hectic games in your head, um, trying to do this stuff. It's not the diet itself; it's everything that's in your head that plays a part.
Yeah, psychologically and emotionally, um, carrying extreme amounts of weight is very damaging to that part of you of who you are. And like I know myself, even when I started losing a ton of weight, I still couldn't see myself as being thinner. I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
some days I
I
still feel like a fat person, right? So,
Yep. I
but,
go through that all the time. That's my biggest. That's one of my biggest hurdles right now. Is what you just said. Is like I have lost all this weight. And now I'm 200 pounds, and it's like, what is that? 513 pounds lost, and I can still look at myself and I still feel like that. And
yeah.
so I understand exactly what you're saying. Like it's a really hard thing to overcome. That's for sure.
So let's let people know a little bit about kind of how carnivore works, kind of the metabolism benefits behind it.
Well, I do it a certain way. Other people seem to do it another way. The way that I found is pretty ironclad, if you will. The way that I do it, it kind of bypasses all the negative things when it comes to carnivore, like being sick and all that kind of good stuff. I help a lot of people, and when I very first start helping people, people need to understand that when you start this, you're starting your body on a totally different fuel source, a totally different way of living, if you really want to put it blunt. Um, and so what I do is I pretty much overload the body with substance. And what I mean by substance is food, food that you eat from the carnivore. Whatever the case might be. When I first start somebody out, um, I'll start them out with three choices of meat, and I really hope that they stick with beef because beef is pretty much the cleanest source of meat. I don't care if it's grass fed. I don't care if it's whatever fed. Uh, it meat's meat, and so you know when you start out like that and you're overwhelming your body with things, you know, your body needs to feel like it's replenished. It needs to feel like it, you're satiating things in your head as well too, because you're eliminating sugar and all this kind of good stuff. And sugar, as well as everybody knows, is really addictive. I can tell you right now that I've been down the road with a lot of drugs and whatever the case might be, and losing all that kind of stuff was nothing when it comes to this. Um, and so you have to satiate that area of your brain as well. And so when you overload it, eating the way you do, it takes care of that. What's that called? What's that chemical in your head called? Your hunger chemical. What is that called? Is that called leptin? Is that
Oh,
what it's called?
leptin, yeah. Yeah, leptin.
Is it leptin? Leptin?
Yeah.
Well, it satiates that as well too because of the fat and all that kind of good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so I found there's not you can't sustain that for eating like that for very long. You know what I'm saying? And so and you're going to come to a crossroad to where the mere smell or sight of food is literally going to nauseate you. And so and when that happens, you go into a fasting state. And you know as well as I do, is fasting is where it's at. You
Yeah.
don't force your body to go fast. You don't set out like, oh, I'm going to fast today, and this is how long I'm going to fast. You let your body fast naturally as what it needs. And it kind of puts your body into that kind of a state because your body's saying, nope, I'm good, no more. We have plenty of food, we have plenty of energy, we're shutting down. We're good to go. And I remember when I did this or when I helped people, the longest I went fasting was a week and a half, almost 2 weeks with fasting straight, and it was just water. Other people are different. Other people can go however X amount of time, but that's what your body's deciding to do. And so fasting is a huge, huge, huge part of the carnivore diet. It's not just the meat and all that kind of stuff. Is what it brings to the table. Just like a husband and wife, what they're bringing to the table and what they're not bringing to the table. And so that's a huge component of it is the fasting. And so that is where I have lost the majority of my weight is by fasting. Um, with the conjunction of the carnivore. So, and I still do that to this day, every single day. Yeah.
Yeah, I find carnivore is really unique in that, like, I used to do fasting before I went carnivore back when I was doing the keto thing, and I would start running out of energy, the morning of day two. Just
Mhm.
couldn't get moving, and tired, cold, shivering. But now, 2.5 or almost 2.5 years carnivore, and I right now I've been fasting almost 48 hours, and I walked down to the hospital this morning, a couple blocks away, did a power walk, about 3 or 4 blocks, and I had tons of energy, and I could feel my metabolism just cooking for a couple hours afterwards. Like, you don't get that on sugar and carbs, or, standard diet. It just I'm this
No,
this
you really
kind of
don't.
energy is, yeah, it's new to me, that kind of energy, or relatively new.
I
So
kind of, I kind of look at it like this. I don't know if this is right to look at it like this or not, but I kind of look at it like this. Like I kind of look at the carnivore more like a diesel engine. You know what I'm saying? And long lasting. The fuel lasts for a long time, and you know what I'm saying. And like you know, eating the conventional way, like a gas engine, things go pretty quick. You run out of gasoline pretty quick. You have to replenish it quite often, can't go very far. And so that's I don't know if that's an appropriate way to look at it, but that's kind of like how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like with the whole energy thing and all this kind of good stuff. Like you're absolutely right. Like I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, and like I told you earlier, I didn't plan on doing anything. Like here I am at 5:30 in the morning. I'll turn the damn off. So so like the energy and everything's there. It is, and it's like yeah, like I totally concur with what you say. Yeah, definitely.
I just want to give a shout out to Say by Carnivore. He's in the chat. And, good to see
Howdy,
you
how
here.
you doing?
So, it's interesting about how our body heals. The healing, of course, happens because of the mitochondria. Every cell in the body
Right,
has mitochondria with it, except for red blood cells. They're the only ones that don't. But everything else
right.
has anywhere from a few hundred mitochondria to several thousand mitochondria per cell in your body. And mitochondria is what heals you. It's what monitors your cell structure and the health of the cell and that kind of thing. And when a cell gets old and ready to die, it gets rid of it and replaces it with a new one. So that's how we heal. Now, what I just recently found out is that if you compare the amount of energy that mitochondria get from when you're eating sugar and carbs as opposed to carnivore gives that mitochondria 400% more energy because it's feeding directly on ketones instead of glucose. Now, 400%,
Hmm.
that's a big deal. And one of the reasons fasting works so well to help heal is because a good 35 to 40% of your energy that you get from food is used to digest it. So, the more you
Oh,
got to break
really?
down the food, the more energy your own body uses to digest it. So, when you go into a fasting state, your body is no longer using energy to digest. So, it takes that excess energy and applies it to healing and
Hmm.
burning fat to accomplish it. So that's kind of the mechanism behind why this stuff works so well and why it heals
Huh.
so amazingly well. I've got
I never knew that.
seven
I
up.
never knew that. Like I know a lot about this kind of stuff, but I don't know the mechanisms like you just discussed, and that's really interesting to know. Um, yeah, I never knew that. That's pretty
Uh,
cool.
I only just learned it like a couple of days ago. I'm reading a book right now called Metabolic Freedom by Dr. Ben Azadi. And this guy really knows his stuff. He's like the father of Keto Camp, if you've ever heard of Keto Camp. So he
No, I
started
never
that.
heard of it.
He's got several best-selling books. He's got a YouTube channel. Yeah, he's really well known in the weight loss side of things, and I only just discovered him a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, he's pretty amazing. Like I recommend people, find good books and really study them. And I've got a website where I've got a bunch of book suggestions and I've got links to articles and research papers and just all kinds of information there. And to really get a handle on this diet and to deal with problems that might arise as you go, the key is education. And
Right.
and for me, the key is also helping others because I find that when I'm answering questions and helping others, I learn more because people are coming in and they're commenting on my posts. Well, check out this link, check out this article. I learned this the other day from here. And so, as much as I might learn and share with people, I learn far more from everybody that interacts with my posts and that I talk to. It's phenomenal how as a community we teach each other and support
Yeah.
each other.
That's a really cool thing that I noticed about for the majority of the carnivore community is that people are more than willing to extend a hand and to help people with information um, on all sorts of topics when it comes to the carnivore. Now, carnivore just isn't labeled as just in my point of view, losing weight and all that kind of good stuff on the carnivore, to me, it is merely just a perk when it comes to the carnivore, because the carnivore is so much more, and I'm sure you can concur to that, when it comes to that, because the mental aspects that it comes to, the lifestyle change. I mean, just on every level that I can think of, my life has changed, from a family man to being a dad, husband. Just being able to think on a daily basis about, normal things that I could virtually remember like it was yesterday, that it would have frustrated me or made me so angry, like I've told people in the past. I would not be sitting talking to you right now if it was not for the carnivore. Like, I was a totally different person, on all levels and aspects of life, mentally, physically, um just everything. But yeah, the weight loss is just a mere perk that comes along with this kind of good stuff. And it's amazing, man. Like, people help people to all levels. And honestly, I don't think that if they weren't doing the carnivore, I don't think they would bat an eye about what the next person goes through, or how they feel, or having them come up to you and ask you for help. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't give you 2 seconds. But I don't know, the mind frame that this stuff puts people in is in a helping way, and it's just awesome to see. Luke James, go now, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. He likes attention. He likes the camera. He likes to get on the camera and be like, "How you doing?" Yeah. And he's a carnivore too. He's 10 years old and pure carnivore. So, and that's by his
Nice.
choice as well too.
Oh,
That took a while.
he is in for a future of incredible health. I love it.
I can tell you right now, that is one of the most healthiest kids you'll ever see. Um, it took me a while to get him over to the carnivore, and I let him make the choices and everything to do it. I didn't. It's not something that was forced upon him. He made the choice to do it, and so and he'll ask for steaks all the time. Like, his favorite is a T-bone steak, and mine's a
Oh,
ribeye.
love T-bones.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
he asked for a T-bone, and that's what he gets. But yeah,
Have you
that
ever
was my
tried
boy.
picanha? Have you ever tried
No,
picanha? Oh,
uh,
it's almost as tender as a ribeye, but it tastes better. It's incredible. And like traditionally, they take the entire thing and they'll put it up over an open fire and then slice off thin slices as it gets done. And I've never tried it that way, but I'll take a picanha and I'll take the center section. I cut the ends off, take that center section, cut it into some nice steaks, and
is
cook
that
them
them
how I.
one deals that like hang and then they shave it off?
Yep,
Is that what you're
kind of,
talking
yeah.
about? Okay.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
like
I've never had
traditionally
that.
in Argentina they'll have like a huge open, almost like an open pit with some slanted grates on the side, and then they lean the meat over it on these slanted grates, and then they flip it every so often, and then they slice
Hmm.
it off as it's done. That's traditionally how people prefer it down there. I just like cutting a steak and cooking it in a nice skillet, and the
Oh,
flavor
I've
is
never
just
even heard of it. I'll
incredible.
have to look it up and see if I can
Uh,
get it from my butcher.
it is available under another name. They call it sirloin cap. So it's
Oh, a sirloin tip. Oh,
yeah,
I've had
no,
lots of
no,
sirloin
not
tips.
not no, not sirloin tip. Sirloin cap. It's the opposite
Cap.
end. Cap, as in CAP.
Oh, a sirloin. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll
So
have to write that down.
that's the tenderest end of the sirloin primal, and absolutely incredible. So when you're cutting that chunk out of the middle, look on the backside and see where the big veins are, and cut just inside the veins, and that gives you the tenderest section.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I've never even. I don't think I've even heard of it, to be honest with you.
I didn't find out about
Yeah.
it until well into carnivore. But there's a few YouTube channels that do like barbecue and stuff, and even though I can't do like barbecue sauces and that kind of thing, the techniques that they teach are really good. So I've adapted them.
For
I mean,
cooking.
they're doing it on smokers and barbecues and grills and stuff. I do it in my oven, or I got it like a giant toaster oven, or not toaster oven, air fryer, and I
You don't
do
got a
a lot of stuff
smoker or
in there.
nothing like that.
No, I live in an apartment building, and we're not allowed to have anything that has a flame. So, although they don't know
Well, a
about
lot of
my
them
sous vide torch.
you can get a cold smoke and all that kind of good stuff, and you could probably get away with that.
Yeah, usually what I'll do, like if I'm doing a brisket, for instance, I'll do a wet brine for, depending on the size of
Yeah.
the brisket, anywhere from 3 or 4 days to 10 days, and I do it like a 2% salt solution, and then I put liquid smoke in with the mix, and then you get that same smoky flavor. It's not as good, to be fair, but you get a nice smoky flavor
Right.
even though you're just doing it in the oven. So yeah, it comes out really good.
Heck, you could get an electric smoker.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the part of the problem we have here, and the air fryer is a real problem in this apartment. The smoke detector is ultra sensitive, and it's right in the kitchen,
Oh,
like a
oh,
really
I
silly
get what
place
you.
for it to be. So I'm always setting that thing off if I'm using the actual air fry feature. So I usually use the broiler, which is like an infrared heating element. So,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, you're probably not in barbecue friendly place then. Yeah,
Nope, definitely not.
that's a
I mean,
yeah,
one of the
that's
first
a big.
things when we move into a house or get our own property or whatever, that'll be one of the first things. Well, the first thing I'll probably buy is a tri welder so that I can do all three types of welding, and then I'll make my own smoker. And I grew up on a farm. I'm not a very good welder, but I grew up on a farm. I learned how to stick weld, and from what I understand, MIG welding is a lot easier than stick welding, so I'll probably
Right.
give my try at that.
Yeah.
But or I'll
Yeah.
buy a used big green egg smoker or something. It's like a thick ceramic walled smoker, holds heat really well.
You
It's
know,
almost as good
I've
as offset.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews when it comes to those eggs. Some people like them, some people don't. Me personally, I've never used them. Um, I mainly just use the barbecue or smoker or the stovetop or oven. That's my main choices um, of cooking and whatnot. Have you used them at all?
No, I've seen a lot of content on them. I've tried food from them once, well, 30 years ago or more. Um, yeah, now the big green egg, they had a bad rep there for a while. They weren't looking after their customers, and they had some issues with the quality of product, and so everybody was buying these Kamado Joe eggs, and they were much better. But then they started going the same route. They started not looking after their customers, changing the deals that they were doing, just making things more difficult for their customer. And so Green Egg took that as an opportunity, and they fixed all the issues people were having. So now everybody's giving up their Kamado Joes and buying green eggs. But yeah, it's an interesting technology because it's like really thick ceramic and holds in the heat. So you can use, a lot of people just use charcoal, but you can also throw wood in there for more smoke. They've now got technology you can put in the top It lifts your food up a little higher to an upper grill, and then it puts in this circulation thing. It's like a kind of a bell-shaped thing. It circulates the smoke around the meat like 20 times more, and
Huh.
that way you get almost as good of smoke flavor from that as you do from an offset smoker if you set it all up right. So, of
Well,
course,
that's
the
pretty
offset
cool.
smoker
Yeah.
is the gold standard.
Yeah. I've wanted one, but I couldn't see myself paying what they asked for. It just doesn't seem justifiable to me at all to spend that kind of money on something, that looks like you could buy it for $15. That's just my point of view.
Yeah.
And by the time I get to use it, I'll probably kick myself in the butt saying, "Why did I buy this before?" Kind
Well,
of
I
thing.
tend to buy a
Yeah.
lot of used stuff, so I like to buy used stuff or make my own. I do a lot of that, so I've saved a ton of money over
Yeah,
the
there's
years.
nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that, man. By any means. Yeah.
So what you got going in the near future with your health journey and maybe coaching, that kind of stuff? You got anything going on?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I finally hit my weight loss goal was 200 pounds. And I finally hit that goal. And now I'm starting a different phase. So like I'm having myself go to the gym and all this kind of good stuff, and starting to incorporate weight training and all that kind of good stuff. Still doing carnivore. I've changed up my diet to a degree to I want to put on a little bit of weight, muscle weight, obviously, and to do that, you have to change your diet to a degree. Um, but doing that, yeah, and just trying to fix myself, put back together, get rid of some of this loose skin some more. I have to have reconstructive surgery on my feet. I've already done one foot. I have to do the next foot just because of the sheer weight that I packed around for all the years. Totally destroyed all my joints and ripped all my ligaments and all this kind of good stuff. So I got to go have all that stuff repaired. Um, yeah, that's about it. For right now, for health wise, I still have kidney problems, but that should be resolved. I'm assuming within the next year. Like I took my kidney failure from a EGFR of 3, and right now it's almost 50, and so that's pretty close to being considered a normal kidney, but not quite. And so I'm almost there. And so with that, and I'm medication that I'm on now is just a blood pressure medication, and that's because of the kidneys. Um, but other than that, everything's going pretty good. I mean, I have hiccups now and then. I'm assuming like everybody else, but for the most part, I'm really not going to complain. Um, like this has given me, um, and like I said, a new life, and so I'm not going to complain about what's going on now by any means. I'll take this stuff with open arms and a big old smile, definitely.
So where can people find you? And social media, YouTube, any stuff like that?
Yeah, I have a YouTube. It's called Carnivore Sensations, but it's spelled with a SIN. Same thing. You can find me on Facebook with Carnivore Sensations. I have a group there. Help people, and we talk about all sorts of different things, all different questions, all different ways of life. It doesn't matter what color you are, what if you're a man, woman. It doesn't matter. You're more than welcome. If you need help, want help, that's what we're all there for. Um, that's a place you can go to where you can, not feel judged, and you can just be who you are and ask what you want to ask, and all that kind of good stuff. And it's the same thing with the YouTube. I don't do that nearly as much, but it's something that going to start doing a lot more here in the future. But that's where you can find me there.
Awesome. Okay, for those of you watching, I'll make sure there's some links in the description that can take you to his stuff. So I'll give you guys a quick if you guys want to hit my website, just look at how I spell my nickname there, Fuzzy D. And you just go to fuzzyroadtohealth.com, and you can find all my social media links and information and stuff there. Make sure you check out Anthony. He's got some good stuff. He's got a hell of a powerful story, and we look forward to doing a little more of this in the future. We're gonna do some Q&A
Yes,
stuff
sir.
once we have more people in the chats. So, all right, folks,
Yep.
we will see you on the next one, and just hang tight there for a second, Anthony, and I'll stop the stream.
Sounds good, man.